This is Caffeine and Coils, and I'm Deanna.
And I'm Jenny.
All right, Jenny, what's our hot topic today?
All right, so we have something interesting to talk about. It's not our traditional all about HVAC stuff. We're going to talk about different personality tests and how they can be helpful either to individuals or to someone who's hiring people.
Okay.
So I have a few different personality tests that I want to review and talk about. And a few of them I've taken and a few of them I haven't. So I had to do some serious research. Okay, so wait, let me ask you first. Which personality test have you taken?
I forget what the one is that we use here at Bingle Dwarfs.
Is it the DISC assessment?
Yeah, the DISC assessment.
Okay.
I've done that one.
That's
I know
in my notes.
I've done the Enneagram
Okay,
one,
that one's in my notes too.
and I think I'm an 8. Because
thought you
Austin
were
and
a
I are the
5.
same one.
He's a 5.
Okay, yeah, you're an 8, right?
I'm an 8, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a 5 on the Enneagram scale. I feel like I've done that one that the INTJ.
Okay, I think that's Myers-Briggs, right?
Yeah, I think
Isn't
I've
it?
done that,
Yeah,
but I don't
yeah.
remember my results.
Okay, so that one's a little fuzzy to me just because I haven't taken that one and I haven't done a lot of research like I have on a few of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to talk about that one. So let's kick off with the Myers-Briggs. So it's designed to identify personality preferences and how individuals perceive the world, process information, and make decisions. It's based on Carl Jung's theory of psychological types and categorization personalities into 16 distinct types using 4 dichotomies. So the INTJ stuff that you talked about, so the 4 is extroversion versus introversion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that one I feel like is almost the easiest one to pinpoint about yourself, like whether your batteries recharge around people or whether you need time just to spend by yourself to recharge your batteries and what that looks like for you.
You're an extrovert and I'm an introvert.
Yeah, so we're like polar opposites, right? Like, so we go to these conferences, me and Austin and I do sometimes, and you said he was a 5 just like you.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll tell me he'll leave and he'll be like, okay, I just need to go home and be by myself for like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like I'm so fulfilled. Like my batteries are recharged now. So just hanging out with people, that's definitely my thing. So that's basically like focusing on the external world and social interaction versus inward focus on thoughts and reflections. So that specific trait I feel like is easy to pinpoint about yourself, and it's typically I feel like it would be pretty easy if you were interviewing someone for a role. You would be able to tell pretty quickly. I mean, if you can kind of get through the nerves and stuff, you'd be able to tell if they're introverted or extroverted. And most people know. Like if you were going to ask them, most people would already know. The next one is sensing versus intuition, and that's the S versus N. So that's the preference for concrete factual information versus abstract or big picture thinking. This one I feel like is a little bit harder to pinpoint about yourself. This is why I love leaning into these tests, because they have questions that are specifically designed to tell which one you are.
Yeah.
So, and then it goes into thinking versus feeling, decision making based on logic and objectivity versus values and empathy. That one I feel like is different too, just because I don't know. I feel like sometimes I kind of fall in the middle. It's like very based off circumstance for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel the same way, and I think it's different when you're taking a personality test, because I think sometimes you're thinking of, well, what's my best case scenario? Like, what's the way I would like to see myself, or how I'd like to handle things. Or if you're taking one for an employer, you might like try to put yourself in the best light.
Kind of trick the test a little bit.
Yeah. Because when I don't know what happened, but when I took my first DISC assessment for Bingle Dwarfs to get hired, and then I went through the Elevate program here and took it again, it was a lot different.
Really?
But it had been a couple of years and had kind of went through some things in those years. And I don't know if that just kind of like changed my outlook, or if, to be quite honest, if I tried to lie a little bit on the first one to seem like a better candidate. And then on the second one, I was more truthful because, and what was so funny was the entire time I didn't like the questions on the DISC assessment. I was like, I don't know how this is going to like read my personality. Like, this is so dumb. And then the result, my jaw dropped because it was like it totally pinpointed me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It was really good.
It's really hard for me to look at the questions and correlate what they're actually trying to decipher.
Yeah, I know. Like, what are you trying to get out of this?
Okay, so the last one is judging versus perceiving, J versus P. So that's their preference for structure and planning versus flexibility and spontaneity, which I know, like, spontaneity is not normally like my thing. Like, I need a plan. I need to know exactly what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And, like, I'm okay to make adjustments to the plan, but I just need to know. Like, I need to know as soon as you know.
I'm fine with spontaneity as long as I'm the one calling the shots. I'm not okay with spontaneity when someone else brings something up on me, you know?
I like that. All right, so the next one, I actually took this one, I'm still in my MBA program, but I took this one last semester, and it's called the Big Five, or Five-Factor Model. So it measures 5 broad dimensions of personality. These traits are considered fundamental to understanding human behavior and are believed to remain relatively stable throughout life. So that kind of goes back to what you said about the DISC assessment, like going through like life events or whatever could kind of change that. This one is supposed to stay the same. So I think that's interesting. Unlike type-based assessments, the Big Five measures personality on a spectrum, providing a nuanced view of individuals' characteristics. So the 5 traits are openness to experience. So
okay, yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah, so the acronym actually spells ocean. So openness to experience is O, and it describes creativity, curiosity, and openness to new ideas. High scorers enjoy exploring new concepts, while low scorers prefer familiarity and routine. So I need to go back and look and see what I scored on this because I don't remember exactly which one mine was. But the C stands for consciousness, reflects organization, dependability, and self-discipline. High scorers are diligent and goal-oriented, while low scorers may be spontaneous and disorganized. E is extroversion, measures sociability, energy, and assertiveness. High scorers are outgoing and thrive on interaction, while low scorers, introverts, are more reserved and prefer solitude. A is agreeableness, captures compassion, trust, and cooperation. High scorers are empathetic and team-oriented, while low scorers may be more competitive or skeptical. And then the N is neuroticism, indicates emotional stability and tendency toward negative emotions like anxiety or moodiness. High scorers may experience stress more intensely, while low scorers are generally more resilient. So I feel like the Big Five actually kind of really speaks to what an employer would want to really know about you as far as how you would fit into a role, especially when we're talking about the contracting side, like whether or not you would be okay in front of customers, like if you're extroverted and how you handle stress and that kind of stuff. If you're open to learning, like we have a lot of new regulations that have come along in the last few years. If you're open to learning that kind of stuff and new technologies, that kind of thing. So I feel like that one is a really good one, and it's relatively short too. So I think I liked that one a lot, and I think that one would be helpful if you're on the hiring side.
Did you hear if this is used in like psychiatry at all? Because I feel like I've heard Dr. Grande is a psychiatrist on YouTube that I watch a lot, and he talks about this a lot. Like I think they use it to help diagnose like personality disorders.
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't know that. So this actually, like I said, I found out about this one in my MBA program, and it was like based off of a leadership course that I took. And in this leadership course, they were talking about, she really dove into how introverts and extroverts function differently as leaders, but they're not, one isn't necessarily better than the other. Like some of the best leaders have been introverts. And I thought that was really, I feel like as a society, we tend to lean into leaders just being natural extroverts, which I can understand. Like I see the benefit to it, but I also see the benefit to introverts being leaders too. Because I feel like they're discerning and they have different qualities that make up good things for leaders too.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
as an introvert.
As an introvert. The next one is the DISC assessment. So like you said, we take this one at Mingledorf. So I took this one as soon as I got hired. And then through the leadership program that I'm going through right now, they actually had us dive back into it. And it's funny because I feel like my scores are almost to a T the same.
Are they?
Yeah, as what they were when I first took it. So it's funny. So it's another acronym, but this assessment tool is designed to identify communication styles, work preferences, and interpersonal behaviors. It categorizes behavior into 4 main personality types based on how individuals interact with others and approach tasks. Unlike some personality tests, DISC focuses on observable behaviors rather than internal traits or motivations. So I thought that was interesting. But so the D stands for dominance, and if you're like a high D, you're considered to be assertive and results oriented, confident and competitive. Your focus is achieving goals, overcoming challenges, and taking charge. So on my DISC assessment, I'm a high I, which is the next one I'll talk about, but I'm also high D. Like it's funny because whenever they talk about like our DISC assessment in that class, they kind of go over typically you only have one that's like a high score, and I'm one of the oddballs who has 2 that are high scores. Yeah, I do too. And so I'm a high I, but I'm a higher I than I am high D, but I'm still a high D. Like they're very close and scored. So I stands for influence. So the traits of that are outgoing, enthusiastic, persuasive, and optimistic. Focuses on building relationships, influencing others, and fostering collaboration. So I definitely know that the DISC assessment has pinpointed me right, because I feel like that definitely describes like who I am and what I want to do. But S is for steadiness. These traits are reliable, patient, empathetic, and cooperative. They provide support, maintaining harmony, and promoting consistency. And I did not score high on that. And then C is for conscientiousness, detail-oriented, analytical, disciplined, systematic, and they ensure quality, accuracy, and adherence to the rules. So it also says the DISC assessment is particularly valued in professional settings for its simplicity and practicality by focusing on behavior. It offers actionable insights for improving interpersonal relationships, fostering collaboration, and achieving personal and organizational goals, which must be why Mingledorf uses it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to know not only how your employees work, but also as an employee, like knowing these are my personality traits and how to work with them. Not necessarily try to change anything, you know?
And I think it also, I kind of wish I would have had some of these insights before going to college, just so I could kind of figure out what my strong qualities were and how that could fit into the workforce in a better way. So like as an employee or a job seeker, I think it's important to know what you bring to the table and where you're going to thrive.
Right.
And I feel like it probably took me a little longer to figure that out than I'm proud of. But now that I know, I feel like I can really zone in on those qualities and how I can benefit the organization from them.
Yeah, I agree. And like for me, you know, there's times where I felt like I was trying to fit myself into a box that like I didn't fit in. But, you know, understanding my personality traits and what I actually what my strengths are helps me to, you know, guide myself down a path that works better for me and would work better for the organization.
Yeah, and I think that's important too when you're on the other side of the table to kind of look into, especially, and it's not even necessarily for the hiring process as much as it is just like learning about your team and who thrives where the best, and really catering that position to fit their strengths and their goals too. So I think there's something to be said for all of this information and how you process it and how you act on it once you know how your team functions as a unit.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so last but not least, we have the Enneagram test, which I know both of us have also taken that one. And the Enneagram test emphasizes both strengths and growth areas, encouraging individuals to move beyond their type's limitations It's widely used in both personal and professional contexts to foster self-awareness, improve relationships, and support transformational change. So, the Enneagram basically categorizes everyone into one of 9, like they actually have actual names for them. So,
okay.
type 1 is the reformer. They are principled, purposeful, self-controlled, and perfectionist. And my husband is is a type 1.
Really?
So,
That's
yeah,
funny.
it is like, I don't know. You can definitely see like whenever those traits come out, because they're typically like really hard on themselves and they want everything to be perfect, but they can also kind of cast that a little bit on those around them. Like everything's pretty black and white, like it's either right or wrong, and they're very like firm in their values, like what they believe is right, you know. Type 2 is considered the helper, generous, people-pleasing, empathetic, and relationship-oriented. My best friend's a 2. So she is very, like, when they say empathetic, like, it is, she's very, very empathetic. So I can see that. Type 3, the achiever, is success-driven, adaptable, and image-conscious. We have a couple of those on our team. You want to guess who? It's in our department. Just I only know the people in our
department. What was it called again?
The Achiever.
Morgan?
No.
Taylor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
Theo.
Yes, definitely Theo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did initially think Theo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Type 4, the individualist, creative, introspective, sensitive, and emotionally attuned. So I don't know of any 4s, and I don't think we have any 4s on the team. Maybe Cody's a 4, I'm not sure. But typically with this test, you have like a base type, and then they call like your wing. So you would lean towards the number either before your type or after your type. And that kind of gives like some flexibility and like influence on where you fall. So I could be an 8 wing 7 or an 8 wing 9 depending on
the situation.
Yeah, the situation. Okay. Or and how like I don't know enough about the wing stuff to really talk through it, but I know typically you fall within, like you lean towards one side or the other. Type 5, which is you, the investigator, analytical, curious, independent, and reserved. Describes right, you, huh? Mm-hmm. Type 6 is the loyalist, responsible, security-oriented, cautious, and loyal. Type 7 is the enthusiast, optimistic, spontaneous, adventurous, and high energy, which I feel like I'm typically an 8 wing 7, just because everyone's always like, oh, I love your energy, and all, all that kind of stuff. But 8 is the challenger, assertive, confident, protective, and confrontational. And then type 9 is the peacemaker, easygoing, accommodating, harmonious, and conflict averse. So all of these tests, I think, like we talked about, they can kind of help you with your self-growth and awareness and uncover hidden preferences or behaviors that influence your daily decision-making and interpersonal interactions. It helps you foster confidence, make better decisions, and improve your relationships. It can help you with your career alignment, improved relationships and collaboration with the team. And then, of course, hiring, we talked about too, finding the right fit when you are hiring. It kind of helps to have like a little bit of insight behind just how they're answering questions, like to their behavior and what's important to them. And it can also enhance team dynamics that are already in place. So learning, I think it helps you learn how to communicate with each other better and understand each other better, so that maybe when you are communicating, your delivery can come across in a way that your team member is more receptive to it. So I think there's a couple different ways that the personality test, as far as team dynamics, can be helpful. It helps to reduce turnover, and it can help develop potential of your employees. So I think there's a lot of good that can come out of personality test and understanding people's motivations and their behavior decisions.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just helpful all around, not only for your existing staff, but also hiring people that fit well within the culture of the company.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, for our ender, I have some would you rather questions.
Okay. Man, would you rather questions are so hard for me sometimes.
Would you rather be stuck on a broken elevator for an hour or trapped on a broken down roller coaster for 30 minutes?
I'm definitely, I mean, am I like hanging upside down on the roller coaster?
No.
Okay. I still feel like I'm picking the elevator because I feel like it's not going to be hot in there.
Well, the elevator, you're going to run out of air.
Okay. Neither of these
I'm
are
scared of
good.
elevators.
Neither of these are good. I've never been stuck on an elevator. Have you?
No, and I have a recurring elevator nightmare.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's been happening for years. It doesn't happen all the time. I only have the dream a few times a year probably, but yeah, I always have a nightmare about elevators. So one time when we were at one of these conferences that we went to, there was like a whole bunch of people piling into the elevator. I just turned around and went to the stairs. I was like, I'm not.
Okay, so we need to talk about this because this is a real problem. We go to these conferences and like they have you all in the same room, and then they like send you like upstairs or whatever for cocktail hour or breaks or whatever. I'm telling you, when we went somewhere and they did that to us, and I'm pretty sure I climbed like 25 flights of stairs that day because I was just like, nope, I'm not doing it. I would rather go take the stairs for 25 flights. And I was like, who even am I right now? But it was that annoying.
I agree.
Okay, so I'm still going elevator.
I think I'd go. I mean, even though I'm scared of them, I'd still go elevator because I think my chances of dying are less.
Yeah. But the thing is, the thing that's like the worst part about both of those scenarios is that you don't know how long it's going to be.
Right.
Like if I knew, okay, it was going to be 30 minutes, I'd probably be like, okay, I'll just pick the roller coaster.
But you don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Would you rather have a rewind button for your life or a pause button that you can use anytime?
Definitely rewind.
Yeah, I think I'd probably rewind some things.
I feel like there are so many memories that I have that you don't really know are going to be like such a memory until they're gone and you just look back on them. So I'd like to go back and relive a couple of them.
Would you ever go back and change anything?
That's a heavy question. I think
Not me always getting deep on caffeine and coils.
I know. That is such a heavy question because I feel like, you know, it's one of those things like for every action there's a reaction, and I feel like
it could change it's like the butterfly effect or whatever.
So much stuff. So yes and no. I mean, if I knew if I changed certain things that other things would still fall into place, then maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would you rather always feel like you have a pebble in your shoe or like there's a piece of hair stuck in your mouth?
Oh my gosh. Neither of these are ideal. Okay. I'm definitely going a pebble in my shoe and hope for.
I think I'd do pebble in shoe
super small.
As well.
Hopefully it's like super small. I can barely feel it.
Would you rather be invisible for one day or be able to fly for 1 hour?
Oh, where did you find these? This is what I need to know. This is the real question. Where did you find these? Because all of these are super hard. Okay.
They're AI generated.
Well, ChatGPT's get smarter.
He knows me so well. ChatGPT is my best friend.
Okay. I only get to fly for 1 hour. I mean,
but you can be invisible for the whole day. Like you can spy on producer Scott.
No, I don't want to be invisible. I'm going with flying. I'm an extrovert. We talked about this. Like I will, if you can't see me and I can't talk to you, that just would ruin my whole day. That would be so
cool though. Like you had to go rob a bank and they would know. They can't see you. They would just see like the money floating into a bag.
I wish they would come up with like teleporting so that when we travel, it can be like.
I would rather do that. That would make it so much better. Okay, would you rather have all traffic lights turn green for you, or never have to stand in a line again?
Okay, I don't mind standing in line, but traffic is my nemesis because we live on the outskirts of Atlanta, so we have some of the worst traffic in the country. So I definitely just give me all green lights, or better yet, just give me my own lane on 85.
I know.
That's all I want.
It wasn't bad this morning, actually. I got here way earlier than I thought I would. Would you rather have a personal chef who makes you any meal you want, or a personal trainer who guarantees you perfect fitness with minimal effort?
Oh, I'm going trainer.
I'm going chef.
I don't really love to cook, but I've come around to it, I feel, in the last few years. I've gotten better.
But the chef needs to understand my palate limitations.
You have a lot of palate limitations, so I can understand why. Like, I get it.
I would definitely make his job really hard.
Dino nuggies for the win.
Yeah, that's right. Air fried to perfection. Okay, my last one is, would you rather spend a week in the desert with unlimited water but no food, or in the Arctic with unlimited food but no shelter?
How do you know? Listen, there are 3 things about me, okay?
I think food. I'd take the food one.
Listen, well, there's actually more than 3 things.
You don't want to be hot?
I don't want to be cold, tired, or hungry. And that's 2 of the 3.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm basically like a toddler when it comes to life. Okay? I used to tell my old boss, I don't want to be cold, tired, hungry, or mildly inconvenienced at all.
Yeah.
Like that's for my, and he would just look at me like I had 3 heads. But yeah, so neither of those options are good, because I guess I'm going desert because I really, really, really despise the cold. But I also am not fun to be around when I'm hungry. Like, I think everybody in the department knows that, like, if it's nearing noon, you better feed Jenny, because she's gonna be a real pill if not.
Me too. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the Arctic. I don't like being hot.
Yeah, I guess you've talked about that cold plunging kind of changes your
It does.
temperature settings, your internal
really
temperature settings.
All right, that's it.
All right. Well,
Thanks for telling us about personality tests.
No problem.
That's all for today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
I looked at you. That one was long.